Welcome back to my series of Karate Kid reviews. I've talked the first three and the Cobra Kai TV show. Now we're talking the fourth movie, The Next Karate Kid, which brings back Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, but this one doesn't have Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso. He decided not to come back, and probably a good thing because he's no longer a kid at this point. This came out in 1994. He would no longer be a kid at this point. He was already growing a little bit too old in my eyes for Karate Kid Part 3, and Ralph Macchio was also quoted as saying he didn't want to become the Sylvester Stallone of the Karate Kid franchise. So take that as you will. But Miyagi returns, and this time we follow Hilary Swank as Julie. And Mr. Miyagi decides to take Julie, who is a troubled teenager, under his wing after he learns that she blames herself for her parents' demise and struggles to adjust with her grandmother and fellow pupils. Listen, I had expected to completely roast this thing. I had no desire to do a straightforward review of this movie, but it just turns out The Next Karate Kid is just bad. It's bad, unfortunately. The only reason to watch this movie is Pat Morita as Miyagi, and Miyagi is still the same Miyagi. They at least kept that. They at least kept the charm and the humorous side of Mr. Miyagi in this movie because they were like, oh, that's the only thing that audiences will actually want to come to see this movie for. They will actually latch on to Miyagi. So thank God he's still playing Miyagi. He still feels like Miyagi because this movie just doesn't get any better. Hilary Swank plays one of the biggest brats in all of cinema, okay? To the point where Julie is so unlikable, to the point where you don't care about her actual journey. She has so much teen angst. As a matter of fact, this should have been called The Next Teen Angst Karate Kid instead of The Next Karate Kid. How dare you disrespect Mr. Miyagi in the ways that you do in this movie? He's trying to teach you valuable life lessons. Listen to the man. It's also really super strange that Hilary Swank is probably of age or just a little bit older to be playing a high school kid in this movie, whereas every other high school kid, every actor that is playing a high school kid, looks like they're on the wrong side of 30, maybe pushing 40. It's such a weird conundrum. It feels so jarring going from Daniel LaRusso to Julie and then having Julie's friends looking like they're so much older than LaRusso ever was, even though I complain that Ralph Macchio did look a little bit too old in part 3. But he doesn't look as old as any of the actors playing the high school kids in this movie. Jesus, my word, that is a bit creepy. There's nothing here in terms of substance with the movie, unfortunately. There is a little bit going on with Julie and her relationship with this hawk that she has kept on top of the school's roof named Angel. There's a little bit there, and you understand why she's trying to care for this bird in the scene where Miyagi helps her actually let the hawk go does have a bit of an emotional payoff because it's the one thing with Julie where it's like, okay, that's actually something that is tangible. That feels like something that I could actually get behind her on. And that scene, the when the music swells up in that scene, it's actually a pretty effective scene. I got to give them props for that. But the movie just has no substance. It's very clear in my eyes that they were trying to jumpstart an entire new trilogy or at least have somebody take the reins of the series since Ralph Macchio didn't want to come back at this point in time to the franchise, and it just didn't work out for them. They were trying to make Michael Ironside's character in this movie like the next Kreese or something. They replaced Kreese with his character Dugan and Johnny Lawrence with Ned. It does feel like it is retreading familiar ground, but it's nowhere near as effective as the first one because it doesn't have any of the substance that the first one does. None of these characters have anything going for them. Julie's a huge brat the entire movie. And it's also got some really, really asinine, awful dialogue. It has one of the funniest movie lines I've ever heard, though, involving Domino's Pizza. I haven't laughed at anything harder this year yet.
I'll call Domino's Pizzas.
Yeah?
And have them deliver 48 pizzas in the middle of the night.
That's great. I love pizza. No anchovies, okay?
I'll write your name all over the girls' bathroom.
I saw this for the first time this year. Nothing has made me laugh harder than that line. So at least there's that. There's a couple of moments of humor in here with Miyagi that are effective. I do like the opening scene where he is attending a memorial for his regiments from the war. That makes a little bit of sense, but everything else just has no substance around it. Julie remains a huge brat throughout the movie, and I won't lie, when she actually does start to believe in Mr. Miyagi as a teacher and the training regimen begins, it picks up significantly, but then the movie gets boring again. It doesn't have anything else going for it. This one doesn't involve a tournament. It kind of feels more like the end of the second one, where it's, a fight behind closed doors, because they do fight in was it the back of the school? Was it this cargo yard? I don't know. Everything that this one tries to do, the original did better. There's no substance for this movie other than probably Julie's relationship with Angel the Hawk and Miyagi being here. Literally, Miyagi is the only reason to watch this movie. He's got the charm, he's got the charisma, he's got the humorous side he's always had, because the movie doesn't offer anything else. And I kind of wish that this movie was just as laughable as it should have been, but instead it's just bad. I'm going to give the next Karate Kid a D-. All right, we're almost done with the Karate Kid reviews. We're almost there. We're almost to Karate Kid Legends. I got one more Karate Kid movie review. It's going to be a fun one because it is the remake, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you for staying with me on this journey for Karate Kid. You guys are the best. I'll leave the playlist for the reviews at the end of this video, and I'll leave my website in the description below. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.